Welcome to the next lesson. This will be lesson 5A. It'll be a continuation of the pentatonic scale. We talked about how we took a particular shape in lesson 5. We demonstrated at the 5th fret, so I could play 8 5 8 5 7 5 7 5 7 5 8 5, right? That shape from lesson 5. And if I start here, I'm playing A minor. If I start here, I'm playing C major. C major, the relative minor is A minor, right? And in this lesson, we're going to learn how to use that same shape somewhere else to play A major. We're going to do A major on the acoustic guitar, and we're going to do a blues progression. Because I said in lesson 5 at the end of it that, well, blues basically played on electric. You can play it on acoustic too. So those who play acoustic guitars, if you want to vent and put some hate mail in my comments, you can. I don't get a lot of comments on my music lessons. I do get a lot. I have one video on the Three Stooges. It's a critical thinking exercise for one of my IT classes. And that gets a lot of activity hits and conversations on that. But we will demonstrate playing blues on an acoustic guitar today. What else do we want to say? And, also, acoustic guitars, they have sounds electric guitars can't make. We demonstrated in the lesson 2, I think it was, how Stairway to Heaven. You can't get that sound out of electric. And then like the Rolling Stones, Angie. At any rate, you get sounds out of this. You get that the classical. You can't get that out of electric. So that said, let's switch gears and show you how you can put the different camera up, and I'll show you how you could use that same shape that we played up here in lesson 5. On fret 5 in lesson 5 actually. So C major or A minor. Now, if you go down to the 2nd fret, then you're playing, and you put your pinky here on A. This is an A note on the 5th fret. I'm playing A major, not A minor. So up here it's minor, A minor. And these are different notes here. These are not the same. These are different. There's still A in there, but A major has different notes than A minor. Now, the way to think of that maybe is if you're in the 5th fret here, consider that like the ground floor lobby. If I'm playing on the lobby and I got my finger on the note here, I'm going to be playing the minor pentatonic. If I put my finger here, I'm on the 8th fret, and it's like I took the elevator up, and now I'm playing C major. Now if I go below level, if I go down here and put my pinky on the A, now I'm playing A major. So I don't know if that helps, but if you consider this fret here as the ground floor, you go up, you're playing the relative major. At that place, if you're starting on this note here, you got the minor scale. So C major, A minor, and down here I've got my A major. And I'm going to play a blues progression in A major to show you that third way to play that one position. What else? So obviously, maybe it's not obvious. If I go to a different place, if I'm up here and I make this my ground lobby, the 12th fret, now if this is the 12th fret and I'm on E, this note is E, this is E major. Right? E major. Then if I start here, I'm playing the relative minor, which is C sharp minor for E, right? C, D, E, F. I'm sorry, C, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, it's sharp. I have a little trick that I'll show you when we get to the theory of this. you know, it's always this, the sixth note of any major scale is its relative minor. So when we play C major, the sixth note in the major C major scale is A, so A minor is the relative minor. Now, if the major scale is an A, B, or E, which spells Abe, like Abe Lincoln, that's how I remember it. If it's an A, B, or E, then when I count to the sixth note to get the relative minor, you make it sharp. So when I'm here doing A major, if I start from here, that's actually F sharp minor, right? Because if it's A, B, or E, when you count to the sixth note, so I go A, B, C, D, E, F, the sixth note is F, so I make it sharp minor. Don't worry about that so much today. I just want you to sort of demonstrate how you could play blues on acoustic, you know, very nicely. It sounds great. And I'll show you something relatively simple that sounds good. It's kind of like a fun thing to kind of relax and just practice your fingering and have a little nice melody coming out. So that said, let's go to the other camera and show you. So I'm going to play a little bit, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So that was basically the progression I want you to sort of learn. Now, let me show you one other thing here. If you haven't been exposed to this yet, this is a 12-bar blues progression. Now, there are variations of this, but I want to show you a couple of things here. You see, each bar here has 4 beats, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars, and the Roman numerals represent the chords. So I think I mentioned in the last lesson the 1, 4, 5, and there are lots of variations obviously, but the 1, 4, 5 is a very common chord progression. So if we're in A, it's going to be A is going to be the first chord, A, B, C, D. D is going to be the fourth chord, and then E is going to be the fifth chord. So the 1, 4, 5 in A major is A, D, and E. And you use Roman numerals that are uppercase like this for the major chords, and use lowercase for the minor chords. But we're not going to do that yet. We'll get into some theory later on. But I just wanted to show you, like, if you wanted to practice, you know, you could look at something like this, and you could, you know, actually count out the beats and the measures. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you don't have to do four measures, but that's the traditional 12 bar blues, 12 bars. And then you go to the 4 chord, which is the D. And the notes I'm playing here, I'll explain, are notes that are in the D chord. Then you go back to so you started with the 1 chord, go to the 4 chord, go back to the 1 chord for 2 measures, and a 5. Then you go to the E and the D and the A for 2 more. So I'm not going to go through, you know, spend a lot of time going through all these beats and measures with you. I just want to show you what a 12-bar blues progression looks like. 4 bars in A, 2 bars in this case would be D, 2 more bars in A, and then a bar in E, a bar in D, and then 2 bars in A. And sometimes in this bar here, you might have heard these like walk downs, you know. So there are various walk downs that you could do, but that's, you know, for later on. But just practice what I'm doing here is I'm using the A string open, the A string's open, and I'm going from 2 to 4. And then if you want, you could do a Hammeron, right? because the hammer-ons change, you know, the sound of what you're playing. It gives you some variation. Now I'm sliding up to the seventh. The seventh note. It gives you that sort of jazzy, bluesy sound. Now, then, if you want to play the next couple of bars in the blues progression, if I strum the D string open, the D string's open, the third from the top, and I put my finger on the second fret of the G string here, that's an A. So now these are two notes that are in the D chord. I just don't have an F sharp in there. This is a D chord, and the F sharp here is not being used. But I have this two chords. It sounds great. It sounds like I've gone to the 4 chord. There's the first chord, chord 1, A. Right? And then you do the E. So this is the D here, right? This traditional D with my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string, and that's a D. I slide it up here, and my ring finger is on the 5th fret. I have an E chord. And then I just press my pinky down to pick up, that's the 6th note. Yeah, that's the 6th. That's the 6th note in the scale. Then you go back to the 1. Those are D, E, F. No, I'm sorry. That's the 4th note. So you're picking up the 4th note in the scale here. When I put my pinky down, so I'm pressing it on the A. So this is these 3 notes in any chord, any major chord is a major, and the 3rd and the 5th is the A. Like this is a D. And the 3rd and the 5th are the other 2 notes. We're just not playing the F sharp here. So that gives you an idea. So you can just sort of get an idea of how it sounds like. So that's also common in blues. You could like be a note sharp or flat. So one of the beats is a chord in between. That's very common in blues also. So that's kind of what I wanted to show today in terms of doing some blues on the acoustic guitar. And then I did that little ending thing. You know, if you want to practice it, it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th frets. Then I go down to the 1st fret on the B string I'm on. Is all B. And then I go to A. So I'm basically playing 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. Sorry, I got an interruption there. So basically start the 2nd fret, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, then the A note on the 2nd fret on the G string. So I'm playing A and then playing E. The G string, the 2nd fret, the D string, the 2nd fret, and then the 5th string on the A string. And you can do a little hammer on there, it's kind of cool. And then an A chord. Very traditional kind of sound. And you can do the same thing up here, but that's, it's a little bit hard to explain. I think just practice that. If you wanted to learn it up here, you have to use the A chord with your ring finger on the 10th fret. That gives you the root for the chord. And then you're doing a similar thing, but it's a different shaped chord, so it's a little different, the fingering, but. So you could practice that too. So I hope that helps. It gives you a little bit of an idea of how you can play a blues progression on an acoustic guitar. And then we will switch and play another song In lesson 6, we'll do, not sure which one yet, but we're going to switch to electric at that point, and do some bluesy rock, kind of rock and roll stuff. So that said, thanks for listening, and I'm sorry if I've rambled on a little too long. It's a little over 12 minutes. I try to keep these closer to 10. But have a great day, and thanks for listening, and we'll stay tuned for lesson 6 will be coming up shortly. Bye now.